Okay, today I'm going to show you the two adapters so that you can use your tools that's designed to take the old-fashioned type of nickel metal hydride DeWalt batteries and use the more modern lithium-ion batteries in them. And these are done through the two adapters, which are the DCA1820 and the DM18D. So I'm going to be covering the slight differences between those two. So first, why on earth do you want to run it on these new batteries when the price of these batteries, as you know, has come down hugely? Well, at the end of the day, these are still nickel metal hydride batteries. These are the new lithium-ion batteries, and they've got lots of extra features, like for example, you've got a little button on them you can press to find out their charge. If you just leave these on the side for weeks on end, they still retain their charge, whereas you probably know if you leave one of these just for weeks on end, it self-discharges it over a period of time. From my own experience, I wouldn't say that these last longer in terms of years of use. I get through as many of these as I probably do old ones of these, so I think that's false. But obviously the big advantage is that these are, this is a 2.6 amp hour battery. This one is 3/4 the weight maybe, and it's a 4 amp hour battery. So it certainly has some positive advantages. So what's essentially the difference between these two adapters, the DM18D and the DCA1820? So you might think that because it says 20 volt to 18 volt adapter, that inside here there's some electronics to convert 20 volts to 18 volts. And no, there's no electronics at all. All there is the battery terminals here go from here straight to here. So in other words, all your 18 volt tools are all running off essentially a slightly higher voltage battery. How high a voltage? Well, I'll show you. So if I just measure the voltage of a traditional charged up 18 volt battery, it's 18.2 volts. And if I measure the voltage of a charged up lithium battery, I'll just poke the probes in here, it's 20 volts. So although they have 18 volts written on the side of them, they are in fact 20 volt batteries. So that means then that your drills and saws and everything that you're using them for is running at a very slightly higher voltage. Now, I've never had that as a problem personally, and you can tell the difference between the 18 volt battery and a 20 volt battery. Just a tiny weeny bit of extra power, a tiny bit extra RPM. So what's inside them, I'll just show you. And you'll notice that the battery input here, the two connections for the battery here, just go through these two lovely thick wires, and they just go straight to the battery connections. This little board here is actually a little adapter board for the USB. As you can see, the difference between a DCA1820 and a DM18D is that a DCA1820 is sloped and a DM18D is straight. If I put the smallest battery into the lightest drilling machine with a ridiculous drill, it obviously, well, still sits okay, doesn't it? It doesn't fall over. So I put the same combination with the slopey adapter. You can see that the whole thing is much more stable. Now there are some tools where you have to use the right adapter because it just doesn't work if you don't. I've got a good example here. This is a DeWalt cut-off saw, and I'll just put in here the straight adapter. Can you see how the straight adapter, the battery goes in this way, and if I just pop that in there, you can probably see that the battery doesn't really go in. Now, but if I put the slopey adapter in, you can see that now the battery misses the saw quite easily. But some of you have probably spotted the problem. I'll just show it to you. Here's a piece of wood running along the base of the saw, hits the battery. Let's try it with the straight adapter. This is the straight adapter with a 4 Ah battery, and you'll see that also hits the battery. Now what you can do, of course, is just alter the depth of cut a tiny weeny bit, in which case you've got plenty of room. So you're not talking about losing an awful lot. I mean, you'll only lose like a centimetre of depth using the adapters and the lithium-ion batteries. These are really difficult to get out sometimes. And if I just show you some of the other cut-off saws, this is a much smaller one, and if I just put the straight adapter in here, you can see that these batteries go in quite nicely with the straight adapter, and you'll see they actually miss quite well. I mean, I love these smallest cut-off saws. The great big cut-off saws, DeWalt ones, I mean, they're cack-handed, they don't work, they've got the they're just means that the charger for these and these sort of batteries are fundamentally different. They've got a different number of connections, so you can't, for example, put, say, this battery in this adapter and then put this in one of the old chargers, because this has only got 2 connections, and to charge the battery you need 5 connections. So from a usability point of view, what you have to do is you just have to buy the chargers that go with these batteries, and you have to buy enough of these for all the tools. So in other words, you leave these plugged into every single tool you've got, and they become a permanent feature of your tools. So all you're doing is you're just charging the batteries on the modern chargers and then taking them out and sticking them straight in your tool. You don't ever remove these out your tools once you've got them in. I've got one here which is my trusty SDS drill. I mean, I use this all the time, I just love it. And of course the great thing is with this is I can use the big 4 Ah batteries on it, but it has one big disadvantage in that ta-da! There are some tools, I don't know why, but they're manufactured to slightly different tolerances. I mean, this particular one is one of them, where once you put this DM18D adapter in, and it makes a really good click. It's a massive job to get the damn things out, so you really do need to buy an adapter per tool. Now, I haven't explained the differences between a DM18D and a DCA1820. 2 weeks ago I brought some more adapters armed with this knowledge, and you never guess what, the DCA1820 I brought is a straight one. So I managed to get a DCA1820 that, unlike the DM18D, or like the DM18D, has got the USB outlet, and it's a straight one. So, having explained all the difference between a DM18D and a DCA1820, it would appear that over the past few months our Chinese friends have kind of got them all confused and are just mixing and matching them and just calling them different part numbers. So when you buy these on AliExpress, Amazon, whatever, you're going to have to be really careful to get the right combination that you want, whether you want a flat one, a sloping one, just a normal one, or one with a USB output. So you've got to be careful of which one of those 4 combinations you actually go for.